What's up, traders? Sandro O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is August 27th, 2021. Please go ahead, click that like button on this video, subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the price action in the headline indices. We're going to talk about, Jerome Powell, what he said about the tapering today. We'll go through some of my trades for the day, and we'll wrap up some options order flow. Before we jump into that, quick first disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades or anyone's trades for that matter. All right, let's jump into the video. Okay, so indices for today. Today was a very powerful move to the upside. We had the Jackson Hole Conference today, and Jerome Powell made a speech at 10 o'clock a.m. And, with hindsight 2020, maybe it was, everyone had piled into like put options or protection for the event risk. And, once the event was deemed, hey, this is all right, this is sort of what we were expecting, all of that protection just kind of flew off because, the indices, we're going to see when we look at the price action, but they really moved to the upside, like a bat out of hell today. We had S&P 500 for our box scores, S&P 500 up 0.89%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.97%. IWM small caps were our big winner for the day, up almost 3%, up 2.82%. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.68%. We had, in terms of breadth, really strong breadth throughout the entire session. Our best index in terms of breadth was the IWM small caps with 91% advancers. And then our worst was the Dow Jones with 77% advancers, but really strong throughout the entire day. All right, let's go to our price action. This is the S&P 500. And we had this really nice 3-day sequence of price action. Then we had 3 days of really just consolidation. Yesterday we had a red candle and we pulled back to this 5-day EMA. And now today we got the move to the upside. So you can see we were up almost 1%. We have this 45.35 level above us. This is our R1 pivot level from this monthly value area. So could we hit this level at some point next week? Absolutely. So definitely want to keep that in mind in terms of a potential upside target. Let's jump over to our hourly chart, and you'll see what I mean when I talk about this upside. So we had, this was, right as Powell was speaking, the market started surging to the upside, and we really did not get, even really any pullbacks throughout the session. Our deepest pullback was maybe like a couple basis points, maybe like 5 or 10 basis points. And then we just continued to rip to the upside, and we were just riding this 5-day EMA throughout the entire session. Let's pull up our NASDAQ. NASDAQ was up 1%, and NASDAQ hit its target here, this R1 pivot level at about 15,421. And we do have an R2 pivot level, all the way up here. I rarely ever see, in a single month, an index get all the way to that R2 pivot level. So this to me is kind of like, this is sort of our destination. We'll have to see how much upside there is next week. And then the Russell, check this out. So the Russell, blasted right up to this 50-day. And I was like, okay, we, tagged the 50-day. That's great. We claimed another technical level. I certainly did not expect it to just blast all the way through. Then we hit the value area high, and it was like, all right, maybe that's where we stop for today. It's another key technical level, and we just kept going. So check it out. Small caps, they had already hit this R1 pivot on the hourly chart, and this is the weekly value area down here. So this is a very fast-paced move for the small caps. We're really extended even from these 20 and 50-hour moving averages, and we're above this R2 pivot level. So to me, this sort of seems like a blow-off move where like everything just surged to the upside, all in one session. So definitely, now we're out of value. Let's see next levels to the upside. That would be, challenging our prior all-time highs. Is it possible? Absolutely. So definitely want to keep an open mind to that. But I would not be surprised if there's some back and filling next week. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just blow right out to the upside. But days like this are pretty rare. They typically don't just, happen all the time. So definitely really explosive action for the Russell. And then the Dow Jones. Yeah, still stuck in range. Dow Jones, did not break its range. Did not make a new high. Dow Jones is kind of boring at the moment. And let's take a look at I also want to look at treasuries. And you can see these treasuries reclaimed our monthly value area, where we closed right around that monthly value area high, or monthly value area low, excuse me. And really what I noticed throughout the session was the VIX just got absolutely crushed today. So VIX down 13%, and we actually closed below the low of the day from Wednesday. In our prior lows for the VIX, we got all the way down to about a 15 handle. Here we got all the way down to 14.1. Could we get there next week? Absolutely. So definitely want to keep that in mind. And then our VVIX. VVIX down 5.99%. The VVIX closed off the lows, and it did not close below the low on Wednesday. So that's definitely something, a little bit of a divergence just to keep at the top of mind. All right, let's jump over to our heat map. Finviz heat map. Yeah, we had some nice explosive moves. So we had Nvidia up 2.57%. We had AMD up 3.85%. Facebook, Google, Tesla, all these names blowing off to the upside. And we had energy. This was a really nice day for value stocks. So let's take a look at some of these. Let's look at Facebook, and we'll look at we will also look at Nvidia. Those are two big winners. So Facebook, really nice move, and now we're pretty much on the verge of challenging these prior all-time highs. Nvidia made, this one is already out to new highs, and at this point it's very overextended. So I'm noticing with some of these, they are starting to become overextended, whereas others like Tesla, this one is really just putting in a consolidation period. So definitely different depending on what you're looking at, like Google, for instance. This one is also pretty extended. So is the risk reward amazing up here? No, I don't think so, because we have a lot of these names that really blew off. And what's interesting to me is that, Powell said, hey, we're looking good to start tapering, by October. So that was what kind of threw me off a little bit with this price action, where, yeah, I think it was just a bunch of hedges flew off all on the same day, and maybe we just, kind of exploded. But yeah, we're going to have our next jobs report. The jobs report always comes out on the first Friday of the new month. Jobs data is coming out next Friday. So if that data report comes out good, that pretty much means, okay, we know when we're going to taper. We're going to start literally the following month. So it's definitely interesting, definitely very interesting. And I honestly think the less you actually think about the real world, the taper, what it means, intellectualizing, that's probably for the best. Yeah, because if you over intellectualize, I would say that's kind of what I did today. You might second guess something or, something of that nature. So yeah, definitely important. The context definitely important, but also just, following the tape. Today was a great day on the tape. So that is our Finviz heat map. Sectors. We had some really nice groups today. So blockchain assets were up 3.38%. I have most of my portfolio in blockchain assets, which is good. What else had a good showing today? Gold miners were up 3.59%. So pretty crazy. What else did we have? A lot of good movers in terms of these sectors. We had biotech, which was up today. A lot of nice movers. The only sectors that were not green on the session were KWeb, Chinese technology, and KWeb is now sliding towards the middle of this list. Emerging markets, internet and e-commerce, and you can see healthcare and utilities. Style factors, we were all green across the screen, led by cyclicals up 2.69% in high beta. So it does appear that we're getting that, reopening trade where a lot of these, not the growth stocks, really the high beta stocks are getting their time in the sun. Because we had that, second like Delta variant trade, where all those names really got hit very hard. And then, some of these names really blown off to the upside. Let's take a look at some of them. So we already talked about NVIDIA, Facebook. DigitalOcean is a name that I hold. This is one of my largest holdings. And this one, I started getting involved with this stock on this candle right here. And I've been holding it ever since. I kind of trade around a core position. But yeah, DigitalOcean, what I love about this one is it's a cloud name, and it only trades at 16 times sales. So I really think this one could have a long runway. This one actually hit my upside target. Yeah, check that out. So this one exceeded my upside target for my position, but I did not take it off because I think if this market really wants to blow off to the upside, I would imagine, this could be a good candidate, to make new all-time highs. So yeah, a lot of different names. Palantir, this one I actually tried on a breakout. This one could not get the breakout. But yeah, so many different names that are really making crazy moves to the upside. Crypto, check this out. Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's at 49K. So Bitcoin, pulled back to this 20-day moving average. And it's always like, everyone gets super excited when we get the extension. And then once we start pulling back, then everyone gets spooked again. But so far, this has been riding the 20-day like a champ. And then Ethereum as well. This is my largest position. Ethereum also got a really nice bounce today. It looked a little precarious there where it was trading below the 20-day. Yeah, really nice move. All right, let's take a look at some of my trades for today. Okay, some common stocks. So I did not do all that much today. And the reason being, so this was definitely, in hindsight, an error on my part. But my rationale coming into today's session was I want to be defensive because we have this binary event, which is the Jackson Hole Symposium. Everyone was, let's see what happens. Let's see what Powell says. So I was like, what? My defense is going to win the championship. Let me make sure, I don't do anything hasty, that sort of thing. As soon as Powell started speaking, the market really started to surge. And I know just from my experience with Fed days, a lot of times the market will surge. You feel like you're missing it, so you chase the market, and then the market goes right back the other way. So what I did was I was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to be patient and wait for the market to come back in a little bit. But the market really did not come in. It just had this like bat out of hell, crazy trend day to the upside. So yeah, I did end up I traded this one HUT, which is a blockchain name. This is a cryptocurrency miner. This one looks really solid. It's a small cap name. Check out the volume on today's up move. And we broke out of this pivot area over here. So we broke out of this. So HUT, this was my one, I'm glad I got this position on, especially because the blockchain assets, are the leaders in terms of momentum right now. But yeah, I must say, there were a lot of other opportunities out there. That I sort of they all just ran away very quickly. So HUT, this one looks good. I took a small target in HUT just to get something on the books. So I closed out 20% of it for $7.67. I had paid $7.26. And then in terms of options, I did take some Futu October 15th 105 calls. Been doing more research on this name, and I really am interested in trading it through its earnings report. But Futu, unfortunately, this one was in one of the only groups that actually got hit, which was the Chinese internet names. So Futu, we'll have to see. This one needs to reclaim the 20-day moving average. And I think really what I'm playing for is the catalyst, which is on Tuesday, which is the earnings report coming up. So we'll have to see, unless, I think there's edge in this trade. Of course, there is the big risk that even if Futu has great earnings, just given what's going on with the CCP, that sort of like sidelines the trade or hamstrings it, where it just can't really get a nice move to the upside. But we are going to have some of these Chinese names reporting next week, and we'll have to see what happens with Futu. So yeah, took that one. And then I had one put option on, and I actually closed that out into the end of the day. So this one, this is my one short position, and the market was just so strong that I was like, it doesn't even make sense to keep the short position on. So I had paid $542 for this hedge, closed that out for $326. And I just put here, thought the market might at least have an intraday pullback, but nothing. So heading into next week, I'm going to do my weekend market analysis. I send that to all Pristine Capital clients. That goes out every Sunday. So definitely going to be looking for a lot of these different opportunities in the market. But yeah, definitely tough to chase some of these names at the end of the day where the market's had, such a crazy move to the upside, especially these small caps. With that being said, it is Friday. Hope everyone has some awesome plans for the weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday.